The following is a short clip from our conversation with the founder of multi-million-dollar fashion brand RETROFETE. RETROFETE is a globally recognized fashion brand celebrated for its glamorous designs and worn by A-list celebrities around the world. In our conversation, RETROFETE's founder shared the key principles and secrets behind his consistent success in building fashion brands. I hope that these insights are invaluable in your understanding and approach to starting and growing fashion brands. If you're interested in joining our free fashion business course or our private community of fashion entrepreneurs, make sure you click on the links in the description.
Yeah, very, very excited for the conversation.
Me too. So excited to be over here. Nice to meet you.
Likewise. Let's see. Foundational question. I mean, I know people can very easily find more information about you and the story, but just for the sake of, having a brief introduction and people that don't know you and don't know RETROFETE, which I hope I'm pronouncing correctly, just so they know who they're going to be learning from. Give us a brief introduction.
So my name is Ohad. I'm 39 years old. I moved from Israel 11 years ago to New York to make my dream. Many things that people don't know, so I give you a little tea about myself. I actually start as a dancer and hairdresser. I danced for many years, and my mother was having hair salon, and I used to help her. But fashion was always a big, big thing for me, as my parents was very tight with, being supportive financially. I had to go to work in a very young age. Fell in love in fashion we had a fashion TV. I don't know if you remember that, if you are in my age back then, this was like where you can see all the runway. And I found out about this channel and really start to get really into it. And luckily I found a job at the age of 16 in the Diesel store in Tel Aviv, that it's like 1 hour drive from my home. And at age of 16, I started to work in a store, and Diesel was a big fashion moment, and love retail, learn a lot about fashion, explore also working with people, explore understanding the denim world, and also start to create my own clothes, because I was so addicted to Diesel that I used to buy all the collection, and then I saw everyone wearing what I was selling them. So then I start to make my own clothes, taking 2 pairs of denim, combine them together, start to cut my stuff and start to stitch, just to be a little more cooler, because in Diesel you have to be cool. Back then it was all about being cool, and elevated your wardrobe and really get addicted into fashion, every day what I'm wearing, every party how I dress up, and fell in love in fashion and pushed the other stuff that I really liked, was dancing and hairdressing, that till today it's really helping me. And as I said, open retail in Israel. I also lived in Milan for 1 year. I was everywhere.
The lifestyle.
Yeah, in Milan, I also tried to get a job in the fashion. I was 20 years old, and I couldn't find a job in fashion because I didn't have the language and the experience. So I used to work in an hair salon because I knew how to do hair. So again, going back to the hair, but really want to work in fashion. Stayed 1 year in Milan, go back to Tel Aviv. At age of 21 and a half, 22, open my retail store with non-budget, just taking a loan.
Very aggressive, yeah.
A kid opened with my friend. We opened a store in the main city of Israel, and was really tough. And also doing wholesale, decided I'm opening a showroom and a retail, the kids and the big dream. And had amazing experience, learned a lot, but Israel was not a place for me to explore and expand my fashion.
This was the brunch, right?
Dream. Sorry?
The store was the brunch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's such a cute name. Till today, there's a special, meaning for that. And I decided after 7 years, I told my husband that we are leaving. I'm not able to really, make my dream come true. And I don't feel that I really stretch myself and pushing myself. And I had so many ideas, and I couldn't sleep at night. And I just found a job in an wholesale company in New York. I got promoted really fast. After 1 year, me and my husband, from the house with a 1 rack, start a showroom, product development and private label for many big companies. But again, we really start from nothing. We came with like the American dream. It's about us starting to convince store to do for them private label and big brands. A lot of people gave us opportunity that we are very lucky and still in a good touch with them. And you never forget the people that gave you the hand. And I developed a lot of design for many other companies, and also had a showroom presenting brands and expanding them in the USA market, slowly growing, really like slowly and organically. And then after doing this for 2 years, my husband just came with the idea, let's open a brand. My immediately answer was a no. I didn't want to open a brand. And I'm saying it like people are really surprised when I'm saying it. I also
Especially being in
didn't
the
say,
wholesale business.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm still in the wholesale business. I'm still doing the sales. I love sales. Like, put me in a store. I go to the store every like 1 month and I just sell to the people. And then people after tell, the salesperson tell to the people, he's the owner, he's the creative director. Like, I love it. I love it. It's a part of me. I didn't plan to be a designer, but I always planned to be a salesperson. I always love it. It's something I'm really attracted. And this is how we open RETROFETE. Just came like, my husband was really pushing about it. I didn't want it because I know what is the responsibility of opening a brand. And I saw many brands that are opening and then, 2 seasons, they're like great.
Yeah,
And then they're
disappear.
like, they in. And I said, if I'm doing it full power, full energy. Every season, getting better, pushing myself, understand what the meaning of being a designer. It's not something, even if you go to school, and today I teach in school how to be a creative designer, creative director. It's something that you not even can imagine. It's not only creating a clothes, it's to be a businessman, understand the visual and the vision of the brand, where to go. And this is how RETROFETE, came to alive. Many people asking what is RETROFETE. It's a really good question. I had always obsession for vintage and I have a lot of stories you just heard, a tip of them from my past. So this is how we came with the word retro, vintage, the past. Fete, it's a party. We are party boys. We love to party. And then we made a party brand for a clothes that celebrate your best moment and your best time that you party. And this is how we came with the name.
Okay. Wow. That's a great, very good introduction. Very well presented. I'm sure you've had some practice doing it, but interesting. Okay. And before we get into like the nitty-gritties of starting retrofit and the process and how everything's looked like, I mean, you've consistently succeeded as an entrepreneur. You've been very, obviously, I'm sure the day to day, there's been a lot of failures but when you look at the overall process, there's been a lot of success. What do you think has been the most like important keys to that success for you? Has it been the people? Has it been a specific behavior? Has it been a specific skill set?
First of all, thank you for the compliment. We don't go like, oh, we are a successful company. This is not our attitude and the vibe, even if you come to the company. We are people that love what we do. We really wake up and you can see when we create the clothes and we really think about the consumer and think also on my employee. It's a two energy that's split between two. I have amazing team. I cannot take the credit to myself. If it wasn't my husband to push me, if it wasn't Denise, Jillian, Christine, Eugene, and many people that are a big part of my life to understand my vision and push to get the product, the visual, the image, and everything, we will not be where we are today. So I think it's an amazing group of people. It's need a village, and I have a best village to make this dream come true and understand the consumer and keep pushing and really evolving. It's like you said, every day it's a challenge. We had some really scary month and we have some amazing month, that we are learning as a business people. Again, you can go and learn business and you can be the most smartest person, but you don't know what the world will bring to you. We had pandemic in the past, that we are a party brand. And as we said, and I learn always make from lemon lemonade, I decide to make from lemon margaritas because I like margaritas also. So I made Seroya during the pandemic that everyone said, hey, your brand might maybe shut down. What are you doing? I said, hey, we're going to make it work, but let's open something else because I had time to be in my focus. So it's always something. There's no, and we don't think like, oh, we are successful. It was great to get Beyonce, and I'm very lucky for what we have, but we're still working like we're like sweating every day, waking up, fire in our eyes. We just want to make it work. We want to open more store. We want to dress up more people. We want people to love the brand, to feel like we care about them and not just making, it's a business, but also care about what we are doing.
Interesting. And what type of entrepreneur do you think you are? Are you a creative visionary and team manager? Are you a designer? Are you a salesperson? As you said, are you a manager? What type of skill set do you think would define you as an entrepreneur overall?
I don't know how to describe myself. I'm Ohad Seroya. I'm trying to do best and learning and growing up every day. When there's a challenge, I know today how to accept the challenge and not go down with myself and go up. I didn't finish school. I didn't go to school. I didn't know how to speak English. I didn't learn I didn't do what people doing, but I actually went and worked hard from very young age. And I use this experience for my knowledge. And I take the knowledge from the people that work for me, and they take the knowledge I give to them. So I think I cannot describe myself, oh, I'm creative director, oh, I'm a businessman. I'm a person that love what I do. I give it all and I give the max, and this is who I am.
Interesting. And when you look at, because again, it's not very again, I understand the importance of being humble through the process, but it's very rare to see people succeed, consistently, which means that there's something consistently that works in their character and their skill sets and their way to approach things. I think that you've been very clear with that the passion, the focus, the vision, the energy behind what you're doing is a very, very important factor. But there has to be something strategic as well. Every founder is different, especially in fashion. Some people are very creative, and their incredible creative visions are so good that they can drive a lot of like operational and managerial inefficiencies forward. Some people are some incredible managers if they can understand how to manage creativity and channel it very productively. So in terms of you as an entrepreneur, as a founder, what type of skill set do you think is what has almost defined you and your successful career so far?
So I think you said something really right about the strategic. We actually having almost every day a strategic meeting and really think about it. And we are a business. Like I don't like to say I'm a businessman, but I'm a businessman. I look at it in a business and also in a creative. I always tell to people, I need to think what people want to wear next year. I really need to imagine where is the aesthetic is going. I also go to the store and I see what people are talking, and they don't know. I'm just listening. I'm absorbing all the information that I use it. I look on things very differently. I do listen to my team. When we have a fashion week, I do fly to Paris and I work with a small boutique and I work with a department store and I serve coffee for them and I listen to them, because this is for me the way I do business, because I understand that you need to listen from the consumer to the big department store to the .com and get their input and implement to your company with your vision and put it with a strategy and move forward. I'm planning every time what will be the future. I do have idea. If you see the design of the collection, how does it go? I do also, like I told you, I learned. I had a first runway show. It was an amazing experience, but it was such an hectic for us. We didn't know where we are going to. Like I didn't sleep for 2 months. And then I said, for the next runway show, I want to take it in a different vibe. I want to enjoy. I want to relax. I want to think it differently. So I think it's important as a businessman now, it's to really learn and know how to come stronger every time, such as a pandemic, such as a bad season, such as a retailer leaving you. There's many situations in the fashion world that, we as a fashion designer, we don't talk about it a lot. But in the bottom line, it's a business. You need to create the dress, but you need to make sure the dress is selling. So there's a big process over here.
Interesting. So in essence, it's been your ability to have focused long-term visions, but at the same time, the flexibility and awareness to consistently develop flexible strategies that get you to those end goals consistently.
Yes, I understand what happened with the fashion and the aesthetic. The TikTok and the Instagram changed the game. We cannot be blind and say, okay, I do. No, I have to sell product to pay rent, salary. I have 100 employees. I have to think about that when I design the collection. How do I bring my creativity and how I bring sales? How I make the consumer coming back to us, and how I make him feel that, desirable, that I love the brand, I feel like special, that, all of that. So I think this is kind of like the game that we are working on and try to do every day, every collection.
Okay, and let's talk a little bit more about your experience in wholesale or as an agent, because I think you can know a lot of aspects a lot more about starting brands as an agent because you analyze them very objectively and very distant from the creative aspect, which I think blinds a lot of fashion entrepreneurs on the reality of this industry. So I guess foundationally, what did you learn about successful fashion brands? Let's get your perspective as a showroom founder first, and then as a fashion founder.
First of all, thank you for asking this question because I meet with a lot of fashion brands and I still have a showroom. I represent 8 brands. And the most important thing that we're telling them, it's consistency. It's really about creating your own DNA. It's being able to see a dress and know who is the designer, from the contemporary to the designer. It's the price point that is very important. It's a shipping window. Again, the consistency. I always said to design a dress, got it. To ship on time, to be consistent, to make sure that the fit is right, to make sure that the customer is happy. I think this is much more bigger challenge than design the dress, to be completely honest.
Right. And why do you think it's such a big challenge?
Because I'm experienced that and I see other designers failing over there, you know, as an agent and working with so many brands. And this was what was my fear to open a brand. I saw the pickup of a brand and I saw how they went down. They are not able to manage, understand the business, what is the margin, the shipping, the quality, you know, how to build up, how to invest in the company to make sure that the company have a longevity. People don't think they just want to make money now, but what will happen next year when you are not ready with your logistic team, with your accounting team? And I was able, with all my experience, to put this information, how to build RETROFETE and now how to build Seroya, and helping other brands in the showroom and give them this information. By experience all of that with many other brands. We have also brands in the showroom are very successful because we are pushing them and being very aggressive because, you know, after 3-4 years, and I see it for many brands in the market, the collection is not wow. They don't ship samples on time. They have an issue. They become very chill. And I said, you cannot be in this zone. Like you can just, it's not working because one bad season can take you 3 years back. This is the game today in the fashion world.
Wow. And can we talk a little bit more about those important variables that determine the fat? Because I understand that's a very interesting approach. It means that you developed a lot of objective experience in terms of what makes a brand successful before you started your brand. But the secret, almost like the secret formula to RETROFETE success, was that you managed to understand what made a very successful brand objectively speaking. And then if you consciously added a lot of creative energy and originality and authenticity, personal authenticity to it, it's a perfect formula for fashion success because you have the creative aspect at the highest level, but also at the same time, the management and operational know-how to take it at to give a brand the foundations that it needs to get to that level.
Yes, we had also an amazing story. You know, I really like when I'm like, if you know me personally more and we talk about, I can talk with you for days. Like my husband that, you know, is such a great supporter. And, you know, we are dating 17 years together. Think about it. I found a guy that in the finance and the IT at age of 23, traveling, like we're going to a small vacation and I'm taking him from a woman's store to a woman's store. The guy's like, what this guy, why did I get it? What this guy want from me? Like, why I need to be in women's store? And I'm just like, really, he knows, like people that know me know the passion and the love, know what I'm doing. Like all my friends from high school always said, it's like it was so obvious you will do something in fashion and dressing up because you always gave us comment about how we dressing up and always merchandise and always make our clothes and always been I was very confident, you know, age of 14, live in a very small town, but come with a pink hair, white tank top, blue denim, like just like experience, like, you know, what people are now doing in a very old age and feel like, oh, we're pushing ourselves. I'm like, honey, I was like, you know, feeling it at the age of like 12, 13, 14. I didn't even know I'm gay, but I was like all over. Like, and I think this is what makes the brand also special. I'm really telling my story. Like there's some season that there's a truly story, you know, the last fall, winter was talking about my mother as a cleaning lady. And this is what I remember. Like she was a cleaning lady, an hairdresser. She used to take me as a kid to clean this really rich people house. But in the moment she finished to clean, she took a shower, she blew her hair, she put this 3-piece outfit that it was on the fashion show, the first piece, and what also Beyonce was wearing. And this is how I designed the collection. My mother living house after cleaning and look, $1 million. And I'm the kid sitting with her and I'm like, wow, my mom is fabulous. And I don't know even how to say this word, but now I can tell the stories. And every collection, I really try to tell a story and find how it's Ohad Seroya stories and make it also commercial, business, etc., 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 but still have a truly story that, it's me.
Yeah. A lot of creative energy and authenticity behind what you're pushing creatively, plus the management and operational expertise. Wow. And before we talk a little bit about retrofit, because obviously that's going to be a main focus of the conversation, uh, let's still talk a little bit more about that consistency that you see a lot of brands struggle with. Um, what about out of all those different variables, the logistics, the pricing, the margins, what do you think is the one that most brands really particularly struggle with?
Consistency. It's really the consistency and understand between creative to business. When you decide to be a fashion designer, and I tell this also in a fashion school, you decide to be a businessman. If you work for another company, great, you will follow and do. But in the moment you open your own brand, it's a business. And people don't understand it's a business. And I think this is a challenge, and be consistent and having, 4 seasons per year or 3 seasons per year, 10 to 12 deliveries. It's not easy. Listen to the market, and not only, merchandising, something that, again, somebody that, many people are very lacking. It's great to create beautiful dresses, but if there's no connection and a story, and there's no, something that makes the brand unique, you won't make it, unfortunately. And today with the competition, today with Zara, that really changed again the game. Today with the low cost, you need to be smarter, wiser, creative. You need all of that to make it work for the long run.
Okay. And what questions or what things should people focus on to at least start working on that consistency on a more day-to-day and practical level? Is it about finding the right business partners to do? Is it about learning and showing curiosity? What do you think are the most important things people should start developing?
If you're asking me what the designer should do when he start, first of all, it should be like, let's say a brand come to us and asking us, to represent. In the beginning, when we opened the company, we were like just, looking for brands, because you need. Today, we are in a different position. We don't
Say
have
no to 10 to 100 out of 99 out of 100. Yeah.
Because we're not able to give them also the service. I believe that, every brand I have in the showroom is like a family for me. And I have 2 brands also full time, and I have 7, 8 brands. So I'm trying to be like, so we're not adding more brands. But if a brand come to us and if we consider it, first of all, we need to see, is it really well organized, and you have the finance behind them, because, again, to enter in this market, it's extremely expensive. You have the knowledge. We don't have time to teach him what is EDI, what is, what is a markup, what is wholesale. Some people come to us and they don't know all these kind of small sentences that we're using in the fashion world. Unfortunately, I don't have a fashion school. I have a fashion showroom. So I think they need to have a fashion partner that understand what is it. Every day I have people come to me, oh, I want to open a fashion brand. I'm like, okay, do you know what is a price bucket? Do you know what is wholesale and RRP? They're like, no, but I have this idea. I'm like, do you know what is a tech pack? No. I'm like, where do you want to start? Like, it's not like me coming, I want to open a new computer company. I had this idea, or a car. I want to open a new car company. You understand? People don't understand. A fashion business, it's like any business in the world. You cannot just jump and be a fashion designer. I would love to. And I feel like always like pushing people, because every week I'm like, I have this idea to open a underwear brand. I'm like, it's not that simple, because you don't even know what the meaning of like grading and fit. Go learn and then do. I worked in retailing or sell. I did everything. So I have the knowledge to open, and I still feel like I need to learn more. And I have amazing people that I'm learning from them. And it's nonstop to be able to build a brand.
Okay. And what other things, because I really want to kind of like discuss, if potentially a brand approaches you, what type of thought process, what type of questions do you ask yourself when you think, okay, this is a brand that has high probabilities of success? So the financing, like strong financially, an understanding of the fashion industry. They don't need to be like experts, but at least a good foundational understanding of the language of this industry, or the business language of this industry, and the business information. What else are you thinking about?
DNA, the brand have to have a DNA that, like, this is the brand. I have a beautiful brand from Ibiza, 32 years old, Charo is Ibiza, that we work with. you see the brand, you know the brand. Like if you see somebody on the street, you immediately will say, oh my God, this is Chao or Isabisa. There's a clear DNA. And mostly importantly, with me, they have to be a great people with a great energy. Like I'm not joking. Like the people I work with, like I can call them from a party. I can call them when I'm in the beach, topless. Everyone know me as a topless guy because I like, this is me. Not at work, but when I'm at home and when I'm walking, when I'm in the beach, I love it. And it's very important to build, like we become a family. Every brand that I sign up, it become a part of my family and the relationship because we build in a business together. The showroom is a big part of the success of the brand.
Interesting. And going back to the financial aspect, when you say financial aspect, do you mean more, they need to have a functioning brand at a financial level, or do they need to have like investors and a lot of capital behind them?
Investor and capital, that it's not like something that today, we're like, oh my God, you have a lot of money. It's not something we are looking. We are looking somebody in the middle that have the finance behind him and have experience and have some account and have some experience. So meaning he's already selling to some accounts. And yeah, he's already in the market. He already experienced, he already, he had a few cycle.
Right. And what can, the people starting out do to get to that, to even get to that level of achieving those things? Because you've been at both sides, right? You've been as an almost curator of brands that have this at a high level, but at the same time, with RETROFETE as the person responsible for developing all these things separately for the brand, right? The DNA, the financials, the knowledge. What does the day-to-day, again, what if Ohad was starting all over and understood that these are the things that he has to work towards, what would be those first steps
To build up a brand?
to
Again,
achieve all the things that you've mentioned that are important to succeed in this industry?
And I will tell you exactly what I tell everyone. Go and walk in a store at least for 1 year. Many of the brand didn't even walk in a store, don't understand what's the meaning of retail. It's for me very surprisingly that, you want to be a designer, you want to sell, but you don't understand the flow. It's for me, like, one of the best experience I have, it's be able to walk for many years on the floor. So I tell every designer, and a few designers, walk on the floor before even opening brand, understand the DNA and the needs of the people. I think this is one of the most important things for me. And yeah, build up something, take it slow. It's, like us, we really took it slow. We really like step by step, build it up. We ourselves, like, I told, like I used to fly to many people with a small suitcase, convince them to buy one product, keep a good relationship, step by step.
Interesting. Okay. And now transitioning more into starting RETROFETE. What was the strategy? Because I'm guessing it wasn't a random, as you said, it wasn't random as, I'm starting a brand. There was a lot of strategic intent behind it. Of course, it was a perfect opportunity for you to explore your creative vision and the things that you wanted to express as a creative, but there was a lot of planning behind that. So what were those early days like? This is the category, this is the sales strategy, this is the market. Like what were you thinking about when in those early days of the brand?
Well, in the beginning, there was not a strategy. The strategy was to make money and have a living because we didn't. If I can tell you, the strategy was like, we didn't have a strategy. Like the beginning was like, I feel like the strategy was like making going out clothes. Like we had one factory that was nice to us and was able to make sample for us. We had one designer that explained what it's like, and even the beginning when we developed the brand. And how funny was it that, we showed to one of the biggest retailer and he said no to us and we got so upset. And then we showed to another one mistakenly and then they really like it and believe. We didn't even know what we have in our hand. And the funny part that one of the famous dress, the Grace dress, I don't know if you know which one, the famous sequence, that I as a kid always like to wear a robe. There's something that people know me, wear a robe or like, topless and a robe. So I took the famous dress and I made it a robe. And then and this was the most big, explode dress that we ever had. The Gabrielle robe came like that from the robe. And another thing that we didn't have a strategy, but because I came from Diesel, on the second season, I already told my husband I want to do denim. And everyone thought that I lost my mind. They said, like, it's a going out brand. Why you want to do denim? I'm like, because I'm a denim person and I know denim really well. And I think there's opportunity over here. not thinking strategy. I really thought there's opportunity and nobody do fun, cool denim. And then we came with the Eder jacket. I don't know if you know what is it. Again, the jacket that we're still selling out till today, because I wanted to do a cool denim jacket with just a puffy. And this jacket actually saved the brand during the pandemic, because in the pandemic, we just sold the denim jacket. Nobody bought sequence dresses.
Hmm.
And then I think in the pandemic, this is where the strategy came, because we understand that you cannot just shoot. We just, the beginning, we just shoot like everywhere, doing dresses, enjoy.
Right.
And then pandemic came to your life. And then I lost few years of my life. But then you understand that let's be now a big boys and let's, take it to the next level. And it was amazing experience. I have almost tear in my eyes how amazing me and my team, the team and my husband, we built a website that really changed everything for the company. I think, doing retrofete.com, bring the retrofete world and understand what the consumer really want without only be depends on the retailers, change all the game for us.
Interesting. Okay. Let's put a pin on that, on kind of like that transitional period, since I think it was so important. Before that, so 2018 to 2020, so when you started Retrofit to when the brand really started improving during COVID, at least what things in hindsight were you doing very wrong and what things were you doing right
During the pandemic?
before? So 2018, 2020 on during the inception kind of like period of the brand.
You're really asking all the tea. Nobody asking this question, but I will give it to you. Oversampling, for example, I think was a really big mistake. Not really analyze and not analyze the way, today we know to analyze the collection, analyze the reporting, partner with the right department store. I think this is like, mistake that you are learning only with the time. And when you get burned, how to, react to them, understand that every department store have a completely different consumer. How do you serve all these consumer? I think this is one of the most, where we failed and learned. I don't like to say the word failed, but we learn and we did a mistake and we're still doing mistake, but we learn every day. I think the smart thing we did was, the denim category, expanding category from the first season. It wasn't only sequence, and we are very happy that we did it. We had silk, and then we had the denim, and then we had the accessories, and then we had now the shoes. I think this was a really smart thing. I think open a store. I cannot tell you how, like from a guy that came from a retail and didn't believe that retail have a life. I'm very happy I have a store, and in so I'm like, every time I'm going, I'm emotional, but to see people waiting in the line outside of your store, for me, it's like, I'm like, I took my dad and my mom, my dad was not in New York for 11 years, and I brought him over, and he came to the store, and there was a line, and my father didn't believe there's a line behind, I think this is like also emotional. Also see all the collections spread like that,
Yeah, it's
go
the
in
physical
like,
representation of a lifelong dream.
emotional. I cannot tell you. I go to the store once in 2-3 weeks, and I'm like
Wow.
emotional. You see your product lay down. You see every item that there's a story, but you see all the connection. It's very emotional. We also put Seroya product over there. You see people wearing. You see a girl coming with a picture to the salesperson. She said, "I want the Mary dress." They know what they're talking about. I'm like. I call my husband every time. People love the brand, and it's very. It's amazing. It's amazing experience. I'm very lucky and thankful, to be in this position.
Interesting. Wow. Okay, let's put a pin on kind of like those important factors now, because again, a lot of things have happened from a business perspective during that process. A lot of things, that good and bad things, a lot of people I think could learn from. So going back, you said that one of your biggest mistakes early on was, again, mostly being very inefficient with the direction of how you were creating things. So making a lot of samples, working with the right and wrong people, not understanding the timelines. Why were those such big mistakes for people that don't even understand, foundationally why those things can be potentially big mistakes?
Listen, I have to also to clarify, it's a big mistake that also brought us where we are. We did, so we also need to appreciate this mistake. But, if I could go back on time, and I don't like to think about, if I could go back, of course, I will reduce many costs that I could and do less sampling. But maybe if I didn't do a lot of sampling, it wouldn't put me in this place I am and didn't learn more about product development. But we produce a crazy amount of sampling, 500 sampling for a season.
Wow. Yeah, it's crazy.
And every sample, hand embroidery. Every sample have a story. I'm like, till, I had a new member team, my head of design, and she said, Ohad, you have to, and I agree with her. She's like,
You have to relax.
she's like, we cannot develop 500, like you see the reg before the season and you need to edit to 150 sample and you don't know where to start. So yeah, was a mistake.
Interesting. Okay. And what about other things that you were doing? So the sampling, what other like big things do you remember? And again, I understand that a lot of these mistakes are very important because they build the foundations to where the brand is today. But just so could people have a little bit more awareness of the mistakes that happen on the day-to-day of building a brand that I don't think a lot of people, or enough people talk about.
I told you the partner with the department store. Today, I really understand their needs. I really think on the Neiman's client, the Saks client, the Net-a-Porter client, and it's important to understand. I don't change the DNA, but I understand that every consumer is very different, and we need to make sure that it's an healthy business for them and supporting their business. I can't say I am RETROFETE, this is who I am, buy me or don't buy me. If I want to have a great business, I have to develop the business with them. They're a partner. Like we talked about a brand and a showroom, a brand and a retailer, working together, listen to them. I'm going a lot to the store, talking with the manager, talking with the DMM, every appointment, I'm in the appointment. I understand who is the customer. I do ask for feedback. Today a store from Canada, TNT, beautiful store. I shipped to her a new Seroya drop. Immediately, I texted her, I said, can you let me know feedback, negative and positive? I really need this, to grow from boutiques to department store and to get to their needs to grow the business.
Interesting. So understanding clients and customers mainly. And early on, what was like, can you give us an overview of the brand on early days? So you presented collection straight away. I'm guessing it was very wholesale driven because of your experience. Okay. And what about marketing? Was there any PR? Was it just focusing on good products?
The PR is a beautiful story. Are you ready? So
Please.
We were really, 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 I really believe in energy and luck and God and everything. So when we opened the company, Mint Showroom, I had a friend and she just texted me now. Her name is Denise and she had a PR office. And I was, she was not a good friend. We just knew each other and she was very nice. And I was, giving her one of my clients from the showroom. And I asked from her if we can rent a space from her. And she said yes. And she gave us a table. It was me, Aviad, and another designer. After 4 or 5 months, we had already 5, 6 people. And slowly we took control on our office. And she became a partner of RETROFETE. And she was handling the PR. And she really believed in the brand. She was also, from the beginning, from working. She was the one that bring the board and asked me question about the name. And she's the one that really pushed us also. And she was behind the PR. And we didn't know we have amazing product before she explained, people want your product. And, when we launched RETROFETE, we got Gwyneth Paltrow wearing in the Avenger premiere, wearing us, and it blew out. J-Lo after 2 weeks. And it just and then, she's such a beautiful, amazing person and a beautiful product and a great energy. When you combine these two, I think, the sky's the limit. And she's doing a great job and she have amazing team in LA and New York, and she's taking care of all the PR. Marketing, it's also completely something else, how we start with the marketing. As I told you, I was an hairdresser, and I really like shooting. I don't know if you see the shoot we are doing and the creative we are doing on Instagram. I'm very, very involved. I have also amazing creative team that we work together. They get my crazy stuff that I'm like, put her in the taxi, go inside. I don't know if you saw the last video we did with Daphne in the taxi of New York. It's random. I'm like, let's build a story. Stop the taxi. I'm coming to the taxi. Can you take her to a ride? But the camera guy will be inside. He's like, what? I'm like, just like quick. We put the music. She take the legs out. It's real. We're doing it like that. Opening, like, building places and entering the model like she owned the building. So the creative part come like that. Today we have a really marketing plan and what we want. I'm changing it because the world is changing. So if you ask me what I wanted to do last year and what I want to do now, it's completely different. I feel like people see different. I don't want to do what I did last year. I want to go up and come with a different idea and where, what is the brand, but I want to stay true to the brand. Like, it's welcome to the party. It's a party brand. It's a sexy brand. And I want to keep elevated. So, try to get all of that together with a planning of 1 year. I don't know if you've seen also the runway we did the last fall winter was a completely story that, again, when you work with a great production team and me and the team and everyone, and you put together and we enjoy of working and the energy and we laughing and we hugging, dream come true.
Interesting. So yeah, early days, a lot of mistakes on the day-to-day things, but basically there was actually, I want to ask you this question because I understand the important parts. Like there was a lot of mistakes, but you learn from the mistakes. It wasn't really one of the important foundations for RETROFETE. Important foundations was the vision and the vision accurately being represented in products that people wanted and desired. And that carried everything forward because in a lot of ways, it made the right people believe in what you were working on. It made you work really hard on what you're creating. But in hindsight, do you think the early successful foundations or RETROFETE were the right people believing in you as a person or in your products and vision specifically?
Maybe you need to ask them, like we had amazing product. I'm very emotional, as you heard, like I'm very and I think seeing on the first season, all the big influencers fighting to get this robe and wearing it without even knowing me. I'm not the guy that's looking for the publicity. Like I work with all the wholesale very close, but I'm not the guy that a celeb or ad behind RETROFETE. It's not my DNA. Like put me in the beach and be topless. I'm all about that. And going to I'm sorry, going to a big fashion party, it's not my thing. If you really we're talking about it, it was a beautiful product. I was able to be a part of the wholesale team in the beginning. It was only me. We didn't have the team. I had Sarah, my intern, that today she's the head of sales. So, small kids, big dream. We went to Barney's, me and Sarah, we didn't believe they even answered the email. And we showed them the collection and it was in a dark room. And they're like, we love it. People loved it. People loved it. Maybe they loved us. I'm still in a good touch with all my buyers. And I thank them every day to open the door. Forward.com was the biggest retail that, changed the brand because they did a big event with the brand and believed in the brand. And I'm very lucky for them. And we also proved them that we are a serious business people because they took us serious. So we should be even more serious and show them, hey, we are a partner over here and we go a big business and we have a massive business with them. And everyone we open the door for us, we make sure you have a very healthy business and great people to work with.
Interesting. And so that people can have something more practical to learn from that early experience for you. What do you think in hindsight were the most important things or are the most important things people should be focusing on at a very, very early stage? Is it just get one product right? Like just really understand who you are as a designer and get one product right and put it in front of the right people? What do you think at a practical level is the most important thing of those very early days?
You need to know what the market also needs. It's a great what you like, but it's, in the bottom line, the buyer need, again, we came in the time they wanted we changed over here. I know to say we changed the game of the sequence because in the moment that RETROFETE entered to the game, if you do a research on fashion, it was 6 years ago, when we entered to the market, everyone start to change the brand to going out and everyone start to do sequence. I'm not saying I own the sequence, never come from my mouth. I'm inspired from the 70s, 80s and all of that. But we kind of gave it a kick. We came with there was also brands that did before us, and I still give them a lot of respect. We just stretch it. We just make more fun from that. There was brand did it, but did it a little too serious and a little too edgy. We just had fun. We just made a robe that most of the girls are naked, but every girl want to wear this robe. And she felt like sexy, and people were wearing the brand, and everyone told me, I feel like unique. I feel special when I wear RETROFETE. I feel like, sexy, but I feel like I'm going out of my zone. People buy the brand when she is a birthday, when she's getting married, when she's going to an event. She's wearing it in the most special time when your energy is in a different place. So I think we create this kind of brand without even be aware that we are creating a brand for your best moment. So
Yeah,
when
for
you want
people that
to
were
open
like the people were connecting with at a very emotional level.
we did for the end use that, if you ask me about 5 years and a half, what was the end use of the brand, I will tell you what's the meaning of end use, because I didn't know what's the meaning of the word. So this is how but I think if you open a brand, what is the end use? Who is wearing it? I ask every brand, who is the girl? Where do you see her wearing it? Like where she's going with this dress? With us, she's going out and she's getting so much attention.
Interesting. And for your own personal creative process, was it more, and especially at the beginning, was it more about trying to understand who you were designing for, or was it more about just trying to put product that you yourself were proud in or proud about?
Experience. I think the first 2 years it was really experience, and then if you see the first collection, it's beautiful to see all the process, and it's very, very, we had a lot of artsy and really trying, and then I think then on the third collection, I understand that I have to go a little back, be more cohesive, and start to tell a story more clear, and not just creating a party clothes. What was the story? How can you combine the two together? Again, I learn every day. I didn't plan, how to be a designer. In the beginning, we really wanted to make a business. We really want to add an income. We were really in a place that we had to pay, we had to make money. We live in New York, the most expensive place in the world. So again, I didn't plan to be a designer. I didn't plan the brand would be like, knock on wood, amazing. I planned just to have a brand, to have great income, contemporary, few good accounts, and, flying to Brazil once in a year, and I'm good to go.
Yeah, fascinating how just thinking about things one step at a time and doing something that you're passionate about and sticking to it actually is, because people like to overcomplicate things, right? Because they're afraid of getting started. So they think about all of the variables that they want to think about in order to justify not starting. But at the end of the day, as you said, as long as you're working on something that you're passionate about, as long as you build empathy on who you're designing for, and as long as you just learn and surround yourself with the right people, things kind of and when you do things long enough, everything kind of solves itself if you have those good foundations and you keep working and you keep learning.
And I always said, many people come and ask for advice today, and it's really nice, and I feel very compliment. But when I go and, talking with fashion people in fashion school, I said to them few stuff. There's no luck. Work hard, play harder after. Really work hard. We worked hard and we're still working hard, and we are blessed that we are able to work hard. But you can make your dream come true if you want to work hard and be consistent. We got so many, I don't want to talk about it, but we had so many bad experience in the beginning. So many times it's why? But we didn't give up. And I told you,
is there one that you could share for the sake of entertainment, purposes?
No, because I don't like to talk about negative stuff that happened to me, but I want to tell you that I learned from them. Many good stuff happened to me also in the same time, and I'm very happy. But when something negative happened to you, you have to really learn from that and make sure it won't happen to you again and push harder. But it's a lesson, I always said, make from lemon margarita. Otherwise, don't be in the business game. Just walk 8 to 5 and, have an easy life. If you want to be
staying at the store is important to start, but then there's a decision. Do you want to stay at the store? Or do you want to start a brand? It's a very different question. Okay,
and,
fascinating.
I think there's space to everyone. And I always try to help to small designers, but I do be very transparent about the challenges.
Okay, and let's talk a little bit more about your experience in wholesale or as an agent, because I think you can in a lot of aspects a lot more about starting brands as an agent because you analyze them very objectively and very distant from the creative aspect, which I think blinds a lot of fashion entrepreneurs on the reality of this industry. So I guess foundationally, what did you learn about successful fashion brands. Let's get your perspective as a showroom founder first, and then as a fashion founder.
First of all, thank you for asking this question because I meet with a lot of fashion brands and I still have a showroom. I represent 8 brands. And the most important thing that we're telling them, it's consistency. It's really about creating your own DNA. It's being able to see a dress and know who is the designer, from the contemporary to the designer. It's the price point that is very important. It's a shipping window. Again, the consistency. I always said to design a dress, got it. To ship on time, to be consistent, to make sure that the fit is right, to make sure that the customer is happy. I think this is much more bigger challenge than design the dress, to be completely honest.
Right. And why do you think it's such a big challenge?
Because I'm experienced that and I see other designers failing over there, you know, as an agent and working with so many brands. And this was what was my fear to open a brand. I saw the pickup of a brand and I saw how they went down. I was there, not able to manage, understand the business, what is the margin, the shipping, the quality, you know, how to build up, how to invest in the company to make sure that the company have a longevity. People don't think they just want to make money now, but what will happen next year when you are not ready with your logistic team, with your accounting team? And I was able, with all my experience, to put this information, how to build RETROFETE and now how to build Seroya, and helping other brands in the showroom and give them this information. By experience all of that with many other brands. We have also brands in the showroom are very successful because we are pushing them and being very aggressive because, you know, after 3-4 years, and I see it for many brands in the market, the collection is not wow. They don't ship samples on time. They have an issue. They become very chill. And I said, you cannot be in this zone. Like you can just, it's not working because one bad season can take you 3 years back. This is the game today in the fashion world.
Wow. And can we talk a little bit more about those important variables that determine the fat? Because I understand that's a very interesting approach. It means that you developed a lot of objective experience in terms of what makes a brand successful before you started your brand. But the secret, almost like the secret formula to RETROFETE success, was that you managed to understand what made a very successful brand objectively speaking. And then if you consciously added a lot of creative energy and originality and authenticity, personal authenticity to it, it's a perfect formula for fashion success because you have the creative aspect at the highest level, but also at the same time, the management and operational know-how to take it at to give a brand the foundations that it needs to get to that level.
Yes, we had also an amazing story. You know, I really like when I'm like, if you know me personally more and we talk about, I can talk with you for days. Like my husband that, you know, is such a great supporter. And, you know, we are dating 17 years together. Think about it. I found a guy that in the finance and the IT at age of 23, traveling, like we're going to a small vacation and I'm taking him from a woman's store to a woman's store. The guy's like, what this guy, why did I get it? What this guy want from me? Like, why I need to be in woman's store? And I'm just like, really, he knows, like people that know me know the passion and the love, know what I'm doing. Like all my friends from high school always said, it's like it was so obvious you will do something in fashion and dressing up because you always give us comment about how we dressing up and always merchandise and always make our clothes and always been I was very confident, you know, age of 14, live in a very small town, but come with a pink hair, white tank top, blue denim, like just like experience, like, you know, what people are now doing in a very old age and feel like, oh, we're pushing ourselves. I'm like, honey, I was like, you know, feeling it at the age of like 12, 13, 14. I didn't even know I'm gay, but I was like all over. Like, and I think this is what makes the brand also special. I'm really telling my story. Like there's some season that there's a truly story, you know, the last fall, winter was talking about my mother as a cleaning lady. And this is what I remember. Like she was a cleaning lady, an hairdresser. She used to take me as a kid to clean this really rich people house. But in the moment she finished to clean, she took a shower, she blew her hair, she put this 3-piece outfit that it was on the fashion show, the first piece, and what also Beyonce was wearing. And this is how I designed the collection. My mother living house after cleaning and look, $1 million. And I'm the kid sitting with her and I'm like, wow, my mom is fabulous. And I don't know even how to say this word, but now I can tell the stories. And every collection, I really try to tell a story and find how it's Ohad Seroya stories and make it also commercial, business, etc., etc., etc. But still have a truly story that, it's me.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of creative energy and authenticity behind what you're pushing creatively, plus the management and operational expertise. Wow. And before we talk a little bit about retrofit, because obviously that's going to be a main focus of the conversation, uh, let's still talk a little bit more about that consistency that you see a lot of brands struggle with. Um, what about out of all those different variables, the logistics, the pricing, the margins, what do you think is the one that most brands really particularly struggle with?
Consistency. It's really the consistency and understand between creative to business. When you decide to be a fashion designer, and I tell this also in a fashion school, you decide to be a businessman. If you work for another company, great, you will follow and do. But in the moment you open your own brand, it's a business. And people don't understand it's a business. And I think this is a challenge, and be consistent and having, 4 seasons per year or 3 seasons per year, 10 to 12 deliveries. It's not easy. Listen to the market, and not only, merchandising, something that, again, somebody that, many people are very lacking. It's great to create beautiful dresses, but if there's no connection and a story, and there's no, something that makes the brand unique, you won't make it, unfortunately. And today with the competition, today with Zara, that really changed again the game. Today with the low cost, you need to be smarter, wiser, creative. You need all of that to make it work for the long run.
Okay. And what questions or what things should people focus on to at least start working on that consistency on a more day-to-day and practical level? Is it about finding the right business partners to do? Is it about learning and showing curiosity? What do you think are the most important things people should start developing?
If you're asking me what the designer should do when he start, first of all, it should be like, let's say a brand come to us and asking us, to represent. In the beginning, when we opened the company, we were like just, looking for brands, because you need. Today, we are in a different position. We don't
Say
have
no to 10 to 100 out of 99 out of 100. Yeah.
because we're not able to give them also the service. I believe that, every brand I have in the showroom is like a family for me. And I have 2 brands also full time, and I have 8 brands. So I'm trying to be like, so we're not adding more brands, but if a brand come to us and if we consider it, first of all, we need to see, is it really well organized, and you have the finance behind them, because, again, to enter in this market, it's extremely expensive. You have the knowledge. We don't have time to teach him what is EDI, what is, what is a markup, what is wholesale. Some people come to us and they don't know all these kind of small sentences that we use in the fashion world. Unfortunately, I don't have a fashion school. I have a fashion showroom. So I think they need to have a fashion partner that understand what is it. Every day I have people come to me, oh, I want to open a fashion brand. I'm like, okay, do you know what is a price bucket? Do you know what is wholesale and RRP? They're like, no, but I have this idea. I'm like, do you know what is a tech pack? No. I'm like, where do you want to start? Like, it's not like me coming, I want to open a new computer company. I had this idea, or a car. I want to open a new car company. You understand? People don't understand. A fashion business, it's like any business in the world. You cannot just jump and be a fashion designer. I would love to. And I feel like always like pushing people, because every week I'm like, I have this idea to open a underwear brand. I'm like, it's not that simple, because you don't even know what the meaning of like grading and fit. Go learn and then do. I worked in retailing or sell. I did everything. So I have the knowledge to open, and I still feel like I need to learn more. And I have amazing people that I'm learning from them. And it's nonstop to be able to build a brand.
Okay. And what other things? Because I really want to kind of like discuss if potentially a brand approaches you, what type of thought process, what type of questions do you ask yourself when you think, okay, this is a brand that has high probabilities of success? So the financing, like strong financially, an understanding of the fashion industry. They don't need to be like experts, but at least a good foundational understanding of the language of this industry, or the business language of this industry, and the business information. What else are you thinking about?
DNA, the brand have to have a DNA that like this is the brand. I have a beautiful brand from Ibiza, 32 years old, Ciao is Ibiza that we work with. You see the brand, the brand. Like if you see somebody on the street, you immediately will say, oh my God, this is Ciao is Ibiza. There's a clear DNA. And mostly importantly, with me, they have to be a great people with a great energy. Like I'm not joking. Like the people I work with, like I can call them from a party. I can call them when I'm in the beach, topless. Everyone know me as a topless guy because I like, this is me. Not at work, but when I'm at home and when I'm walking, when I'm in the beach, I love it. And it's very important to build, like we become a family. Every brand that I sign up, it become a part of my family and the relationship because we build in a business together. The showroom is a big part of the success of the brand.
Interesting. And going back to the financial aspect, when you say financial aspect, do you mean more, they need to have a functioning brand at a financial level, or do they need to have like investors and a lot of capital behind them?
Investor and capital, that it's not like something that today, we're like, oh my God, you have a lot of money. It's not something we are looking. We are looking somebody in the middle that have the finance behind him and have experience and have some account and have some experience. So meaning he's already selling to some accounts. And yeah, he's already in the market. He already experienced, he already, he had a few cycle.
Right. And what can, the people starting out do to get to that, to even get to that level of achieving those things? Because you've been at both sides, right? You've been as an almost curator of brands that have this at a high level, but at the same time, with RETROFETE as the person responsible for developing all these things separately for the brand, right? The DNA, the financials, the knowledge. What does the day-to-day, again, what if Ohad was starting all over and understood that these are the things that he has to work towards, what would be those first steps
to build up a brand?
To again, achieve all the things that you've mentioned that are important to succeed in this industry?
And I will tell you exactly what I tell everyone. Go and walk in a store at least for 1 year. Many of the brand didn't even walk in a store, don't understand what's the meaning of retail. It's for me very surprisingly that, you want to be a designer, you want to sell, but you don't understand the flow. It's for me, like, one of the best experience I have, it's be able to walk for many years on the floor. So I tell every designer, and a few designers, walk on the floor before even opening brand, understand the DNA and the needs of the people. I think this is one of the most important things for me. And yeah, build up something, take it slow. It's, like us, we really took it slow. We really like step by step, build it up. We ourselves, like, I told, like I used to fly to many people with a small suitcase, convince them to buy one product, keep a good relationship, step by step.
Okay. And let's talk a little bit more about the transitional. And by the way, if you have any hard stop, you can feel free to interrupt me at any time, because I can talk about these things forever. But when exploring the very clear transition and period of, okay, RETROFETE is starting as a brand, it has some potential to, okay, this is starting to become something that we didn't even imagine. What were those like things, the foundational principles that got it to that point? Great product, like for example, great product, great vision, again, working with the right customers, having great people working behind PR and communications. Like, what do you think were those really, really important foundations for the big transitional period for the brand?
I think you just mentioned them. I think the team, it's like such a big, game changer. I think same time, as a team, but you also have to take the people that doesn't, as the company growing, you have also to edit your team. You have the good of having great people, but there's also, I've been in a position that I had to let people go. People that, build up the brand, but were not able to, grow up with the brand and got stuck. I did, not as a bad, but it's not a nice place to be. But a great team can change all the game. And the opposite, if you don't have the great team, I think the product is very important, the production, the quality. It's like all this stuff to make this like beautiful retrofit world,
Hmm.
pushing your vision, telling the story. When I came with the martini and welcome to the party, people in the beginning, let's do it. Let's put martini. But I'm like, there's a story for that. I didn't just put a martini. I love lychee martini, and this is my drink. So everyone know from age of like, I used to go to a restaurant and all my friends used to like, give this guy lychee martini and leave us alone because this is what Ohad will order. And it's really putting your story in the brand and go with it. Like, and then you will see like, just leave it, like I did in Seroya, like my last name. And like, why you did your last name? Like, because people call me as a kid, Seroya. So I think it's like putting the story and understand how you tell it and just put it out there and not be shy about it. And, in the beginning, I was very not shy. I'm not a shy guy. I didn't know if I want to tell all these stories because I have so many stories and I experienced so many things. And I travel so many and I meet so many special people. And I have so many great people in my life that impact me every day. And I put always this stuff like you see even behind me, like, the camouflage and the army, because, my father is in the army and I was always leave this world. And there's always story behind the brand that people don't even know. So it's not just to create a clothing. I want to be very clear. I'm telling a story behind every item and thinking about me as a woman or the woman that will wear me.
Interesting. Okay. Let's talk a little bit more about the importance of transitioning from, creating products that pursue your vision versus creating products that people want to buy. Because I think this idea is something that, and this idea as a whole, right? Because it's that balance that people really, really struggle with creatively. It's that balance that people really, really struggle with commercially and from a merchandising perspective, from a management perspective, from a vision perspective. So what was the biggest challenge for you? Was it compromise? Like, is there any type of creative compromise? What was the formula that worked for you?
There's no formula. I have my amazing VP, and she's my hand right, Christine. CMO, I'm sorry, she will kill me saying VP. And I
She's been
always
at the company long enough. She's deserved one.
she's like, and Jillian, my assistant and the head of merchandise, like two girls that are very important from all the building there. And we have always this conversation, it's very, very challenging. How do you bring your creativity and how do you bring the commercial part and put it together? It's very challenging. I have to be very honest because sometimes I get pushed and sometimes I get pushed in, I will shout. Sometimes my team said no. Sometimes my team say yes. Sometimes I said no. I don't care. I do it. Sometimes I have these days. I'm like, no, this is me. And they're like, okay, do it. And when I really feel it, I do it. But as I told you, I'm a listener. And I always tell my team and the people that are very close to me have to have opinion. There's no people that work with me and don't have opinion. Otherwise, I don't want them to work with me. Like the people I describe you, they will tell everything they have to say and they will not keep anything. And this is why we work so well. She will explain, she will bring our point of view, and I will bring the point of view. And, I trust her and she trusts me. And if she said, oh, we really need it, or if I said I really need it, both of us will say, yes, let's do it. Because we believe each other, but we will convince each other that this is the right product for the collection. And listen, sometimes I'm wrong and sometimes I'm right. And then we like, throwing, I told you this could be like a big thing. And it's happened, but same for both sides. But in the end, we work so great together that I think we balance it. But you always want more. I always, when it's the end of before we show in the collection, I get panic attack. Everyone knows. Because now we cut also the amount of sampling. And I'm like, we don't have enough samples, we don't have enough that, and everyone knows, you need to relax. I call Aviad, like I don't have sample, with the buyer will not. So yeah, there's always this story about if we have enough, if I have my creativity enough, if it can't become too commercial. This is why I like, the fashion show. We took a break now, but I think in the fashion show, because I was a dancer and because the show, the models and the vibe, and when you see the product on Carolina that Tartini, that she's like model from she's one of my favorite models forever. walking with the outfit and the energy and, with the light, I'm like, that's it. I can retire. Like, I really do what I really felt the energy that I want to express. So I feel like now you bring me why I should do again one way, maybe in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, and the reason why I asked this question is that it's the most common challenge that I see maybe a little bit more advanced fashion entrepreneurs make. Early on, it's just what type of like what is my creativity even mean, right? And how do I work on that? And how do I explore and how do I find that? But then it's okay, my brand has grown because I have a unique DNA that people are resonating with at a deeper level. But now it's a business, right? Now we're doing $1 million a year. Now we're doing late six figures dollars a year. And I need to ask myself those questions like, what do I need to do going forward? Is it just about me? Is it about my vision? Is it about building a merchandising? Again, people really, really struggle in that transitional period, especially on a day-to-day practical level. Like, do I expand my categories? Do I work on categories that I don't want? How much should I do all those things? So what was something that worked for you? What was an approach that worked for you during when you were asking yourself all those questions?
I think the point you bring, first of all, I have to tell you, we also experience this kind of like challenges. It's something that every designer experience, how do you bring the balance between, again, creativity and business? Because like you said, it's more than $1 million business. And when you have a bad season, it can really impact the company. And you have to be very careful because you're also responsible. I have 100 employees. I have to make sure,
Yeah, it's not about you
people don't
anymore.
like to hear it. I have to make sure I bring money home. Like this, how we said, I have to make sure that I'm able to pay, everything. So when I design the collection, I do think about it. I have to be completely honest. I do think about items that can produce volume, that will get reorder, that will, we have some item that, the other jacket, I didn't think it will sell. I don't want to say the amount, but I didn't think it will sell so well till today, but it did. I forgot now the question because I think I
Oh,
went to
about kind of like exploring what that transition looks like at a very, very practical level when the brand is transitioning from, oh, this is just a creative project that people resonated to now it's a business and I have a responsibility as a founder to take specific decisions on a day-to-day basis, especially from the product perspective, because that's what designers feel very, very personally attached to.
So we personally, to be completely and give you a little more information, we really analyze by delivery, by needs. We really, really, I'm telling you, analyze in a level that you will not even believe the information that we are getting to understand exactly the needs by a month, by a season, by a color, by sizing, and any information. Just it's like an IT company with a creative impact. I can really tell you like that, like, like algorithm in a fashion world, because this is like, we have to make sure we have a business, put in the creativity, understand what's happened because it's a stock market. This is how sometimes I explain the market going to this place. Are you following or are you sticking in your place? And then, it probably will stop. And every brand that you will see today, if you see the fashion show, there's a reason they are all are going on the same trend because they understand where the market is going. And we do the same. And I'm not shy about it. I do bring my creativity and the story, but I do see where the market is going and I make sure to go over there. Sometimes I gamble. I have to be completely honest. Sometimes it's working and sometimes it's not. Sometimes I have a dream that, I want to be edgy and very like cool, called have these days, but sometimes I realize that my girl, she's not like that. She's femme, she's floral, she's fun, she's sexy. She's cool. She's like, she like to drink, she like to enjoy. She's not a quiet girl in the party. She's like me. She party. She's the one that closed the party with the bottles, when they clean she's the like the party girls. So I understand who is my girl. I do follow the trends and make sure that I'm a part of the trend and not piece in the trend and know how to analyze the market. I think it's a very important thing for being a smart designer.
Right. So it's an additional skill. I think that's a great answer because you need to learn and you need to almost have a very logical and rational learning and analysis process to your creativity development. And it's very difficult to develop because obviously what makes you a good designer a lot of times makes you a very bad rational analyzer and vice versa. But it is a skill set that you need to do. And for you, it's okay, how do I analyze everything that's going on with the brand, everything that's working, everything that my customer resonates with, so that I can use that as a foundation for my creative decision making. If I decide to ignore a lot of the things that the data is telling me, at least I'm making a conscious decision that I'm ignoring it because I have an intuitive sense that the direction where I want to take things creatively makes more sense than what the data is telling me. Or some seasons is, okay, now, I don't know, last season wasn't as strong. I can take creative risks. So let's just double down on what we can see has worked for our customers.
Definitely. It's
Mm,
exactly like you can't take too much creative risk. I do take, like in fall, winter, I did take creative risk that actually, I'm happy that we took this, but we really believe when we saw it on the girl, we knew we got a winner. When we saw this three-piece jacket, when we saw the suiting, and when we had the team together and everyone, we knew we had something. And it's actually paid off. It wasn't a creative risk. It was kind of like we go up. I decided, okay, I want to show people that I'm more like, I want to show more. I want to do more categories. I want to show blouses. I want to show suiting in a different way. I want to show sequins in a different way and not being too obvious. I want to show dresses in a different way. And, the blazer that we made at the short sleeve, it was just ideas that I was like, do it, well, just do it. And when we saw the model, how comfortable and strong, we knew that we had something good.
mm. And does this approach of having a good rational foundation of your decision making and then the creativity to make it all even better, is this something that applies to every important facet of the business? So the communications, the marketing, the product development, all of that, all of those different areas follow the same thought process?
Yes, kind of a way. I think the marketing and the shooting and everything we do on the Instagram, you should not take it too seriously. You really need to enjoy. Like one of my girl, like I'm very lucky because most of my team are very young and they bring me a lot of joy. And they're like, I have like one of my amazing girl, like now she's the stylist of the company. She's 23 years old, and the joy and the fun. And one time I asked her a question about my Instagram, and I show a picture of mine, and I said, "What do you think? Should I post it or not?" She said, "You're thinking too much. Just post it. It's like you don't act like you are like 39, like and she said something very smart. And I think with the Instagram, of course, we're thinking, but we also enjoying the experience and not being like it's a brand. It's like she's fun. She's going to a party. She doesn't she dress up. She put the makeup. She like going out. She's like she's RETROFETE girl. So this is the girl. So we can be like that and enjoy. We are planning to do something I can't tell you because it's a secret, but it will bring even more fun and joy to the brand because this is what we want.
Mm. And what about we're working with the right clients and retail partners? Is it the same? Like, how do you choose those right partners? Is it also a balance of which ones have the best commercial viability with which ones are the most brand compatible? Is there a balance between those two questions?
Are you talking about department store, I'm guessing?
Department stores, yeah, retail partners, independent stores, boutiques.
Yeah, I think first of all, it was, a relationship that, growing up, I think many retailer didn't till today don't believe, the business only when they sign up with us and understand how much business a young brand can bring to their, to them, then they are in shock. We had many people, we literally like in the beginning, everyone jumped in and some people, just faded or keep it a very small business. And when we enter and been a little more aggressive, or many stores that dropped us I think after the pandemic, it was completely, and we really convinced them and we had to convince them and we saw how much business we bring to them. It changed again to everyone. And now when we know their clientele and we work with them and we listen to them because we're not coming, we bring you business. We want to bring you more business. We are a business people. Tell us what you need. We want to make sure your business is healthy. This style is not working. We are taking it. We are not here to tell you no. We want the business to be super healthy and grow every season. And I think with all our partner, everyone's seeing it. And it just like, it's great to be in this position because, in the beginning, some people didn't want to work with you. Until today, we have some retailers that are not interested to work with us. And we are like asking us, do you understand the business that you guys are losing and people loving the brand? but sometimes we don't know the reason and we cannot.
Yeah, you can't come to that answer.
Yeah, you don't want. Who is working with us, making a great business, and we are very happy for them. And I'm sure, if we keep showing consistency and keeping evolving, more and more accounts will come. But slow and steady, we are very happy in where we are today and very blessed. Of course, we want to grow, but we want to go slow. Now we don't want to go fast. This is not the idea. We are not chasing after more stores. If a store come and knocking, we want to build a strong relationship and a business and not just putting the product over there to say, oh, we are there.
Okay. And when you're just to explore the consistency aspect, because it's been the common topic for this conversation, when you think about who you're designing for and when you have to balance that with what a client wants, so a department store, for example, are you always just thinking about who the customer is and driving everything behind that? Or are you also thinking who is the customer and who is the wholesale and the department buyer and what do they want? Like how much do they go into like the day-to-day decision making process or
Well, they don't have any decision, but I
yeah.
understand that the consumer it still wants something sexy, but not too sexy. We have some dresses that, that are selling great in our D2C with high slit, open back, and a strap. This will not go to Neiman Marcus or Saks Fifth Avenue. But we have our Lame collection that it's a sharp price point, $575 gowns with a stretch fabric, with the right coverage, and just a little peak of open back. And this is a department store. And it's a big category for us. It's doing also amazing for us in the D2C, but this is more the department store. And we see that she's going there. So when we design the collection, we understand what she wants. She wants a peekaboo of sexiness, but she doesn't want to be like, too open.
Right.
So, and I like that, and I love that now the trend, it's a little more preppy, A-line are back, boat neck. I love this trend. So for me, when I did it already for fall and now we launch all this kind of category, it's doing amazing in our D2C and in the department store that it's a little more cover. It's mini, but very A-line. All these balloon shape are coming back on fashion. So there's a great opportunity over here to develop this kind of business.
Incredible. Yeah. So it's more a factor of how you develop the collection as a whole. In general, you're designing for the retrofit girl, as you said, but you're designing the collections in the ways so that the vision that you're designing can be a little bit more flexible and adaptable to the specific preferences of clients, of people. That's the whole point of having a good collection, is to have a balance that everybody can kind of like identify with and pick from, whether it's a customer, on their house that again is not looking for something sexy, to a department store that has a very, very specific type of customer that is looking for something very, very specific.
I had a trunk show in Orlando with amazing boutique that they are fine after the storm. And they asked me to come to a trunk show, and a mom and a daughter came, and she showed me that the mom and the daughter is 16 years old, and the mother was like 48, and both of them buying RETROFETE, and they show me the dresses and the daughter, and I think this is the beauty also of the brand. And this is also, people don't like to say I'm a department store brand. We are not a department store brand. We are a brand that can fit to department store, to D2C, and a boutique. But it's a great to see that we have the two customers that can be able to buy the product. And it's not only for specific market, even that we design it for going out, but like also for occasion.
Yeah. Fascinating. Yeah. And I ask these questions because again, it's finding that those balances that people really, really struggle with, right? How do I balance the creativity and the business? How do I balance what the department store client wants versus what I want for my customer? How do I balance what this specific type of customer wants versus what this specific type of customer wants? These are all the questions that people start asking themselves at a more advanced level. Amazing, Ohad. Any important questions or things you think that we have not discussed so far in terms of the success of RETROFETE, strategically speaking, maybe like focusing more on D2C or e-commerce, or do you think foundationally if we've covered everything, or D2C is also very, very important?
D2C is very important. I think also for the DNA of the brand. I think it's one of the smartest thing we did to our company. The RETROFETE world, we are calling it. We are also selling Seroya and other brands from the showroom that actually sit perfectly with the brand. And it's also help you to, with the minimum, with the factory. It's helping you to grow the business. Again, be careful. People have a feeling that when they open D2C, you need one person. I have around 25 people only on the D2C. It's a big business, but it's, maintained, and you need to have a great team to maintain this great business. I also recommend, when people ask me about brand, it's like be very appreciate for your team and the people around you. Tell them thank you. You couldn't do it without them, and and be thankful for what you have. We breathe, we walk, sunny outside. We should be very thankful, and then we can do great business.
Mm. And what do you think entrepreneurs that are trying to understand how to sell their brands, if it's going to be D2C, if it's going to be wholesale, what do you think are those questions that you should be asking yourselves in terms of what's more compatible to what you're working on?
You mean like where they should start? Like which?
Yeah, because there's so many things people can do nowadays, and especially if they have something and it's growing or has the potential of growing, it's what's the question? Do I focus on wholesale? Do I focus on D2C? Like what's the answer? How do you explore that question?
Let me give you some tip, because you're asking really stuff that can help the small designer. And I
Mm.
think this is where the problem of financial, I think it's very important that, first of all, when you open D2C, there's one thing, you need always minimum for your orders. If you are able to find a factory that's able to achieve your small orders, you got a winner if you have a great quality. Because I feel like what's the problem, small brands are opening, and even if they go to wholesale with the payment terms and the condition and the discount and everything, that they have to be very careful. It can be like, do you think you're making money, but then in the bottom line, you don't make money, because when you get net 60, 10, 15% discount, and you have to pay to the factory in advance, you have so much a window of like you are paying and own to everyone, but you don't actually make the money, because by the time you're going to get paid, you need to make another collection, and you actually always, your cash flow is not positive. And if you create a D2C, your margin is higher, but again, many designers don't know how to calculate a margin. That this is a completely conversation that, we can talk about it hours and days. It's very important to hire people that understand the markup and the margin of the product. And many people don't calculate between landed margin and FOB margin, and don't understand that there's a difference between a blouse and a pants, between the markup and the custom charge, depends where you made it. So this is all completely business that, many people don't know. Like, I have this idea. I'm like, do you know that blouses have 40% and pants have 20%? People don't even understand that. So I think you really need to think where you're going. If you have the finance to go immediately D2C with a strong marketing, and able not to overspend on inventory, but you believe you have a strong product, and you can create a great buzz on your D2C, on the brand, the wholesale account will come in the end if you have a strong branding, something that's really hard and costs a lot of money. Mean that you need a PR. The PR, just to for you, it's around $8,000 a month, a good PR. If you want to and you need also a good product, because in the bottom line, if you have a good PR and a good showroom and you don't have a good product, it's not worth anything. Yeah. So I think it's like the eggs and the chicken. You really need to think how you do it. I just gave you a lot of tips that if a designer hear it, you really need to take this information seriously, because I've been there and I know it. And from experience, it's all about that. I always said it's all about the margin, because this margin will make sure to cover many stuff. And actually, it's not about only making money. It's about being able to grow, because when you have the demand, you will need to put more money on product, on shipping, and a team. And if you want a great team, it costs a great money, and they worth the money, but it costs money. And if you want to show in Paris, it costs a lot of money, and more and more and more. I just give you a tip how to open a brand.
Well, I'll leave, as you said, this is a topic of conversation that we could talk for hours in. So I'm gonna end the conversation there and hopefully use it as a teaser for a part 2 of a conversation sometime. I think that so far we spoke about the most important thing, what at the end of the day is really understanding what your vision is all about and how to deliver consistency in that vision with the different variables that are always attacking that consistency from an external perspective, visions, expanding, growth, all of these different things. So ending question would be, is there any other, and especially you that you are very open into teaching the next generation of designers, is there any other very important piece of advice that you'd like to share that you haven't shared so far in this conversation?
Just do it and get your hands dirty. Touch everything you can touch. Work in many jobs. As I said, and I will keep saying, I worked in 3 jobs. I enjoy work with, as many jobs because, everyone want to party in a young age. This is not the time to party. Today I party, I travel the world, I experience. But as a young age, as a young kid, I work day and night, not only for the finance. I met people, I learned from people. I worked at a restaurant, I work in diesel, I work as an hairdresser. I really learned from all this experience that helped me to be a better person, a great businessman, a businessman, great people, other people can say, and implement all this experience in your life and take the bad and the good, learn from the bad and learn from the good, and just expand and take it from there and be
Amazing,
appreciated.
Ohad. Wow, what a great conversation, truly.
Thank
I
you
think
so much.
people will appreciate it.